Hi everybody, my name is Gina. Welcome to my new YouTube channel, Life Lessons and Connections. Today I'm going to be telling you a story about the one simple act that changed the trajectory of my life. I hope that it moves you and you connect with it, and I hope it helps you reflect at your own life and your own path. I'm a physical therapist by trade and have been so for a couple of decades now. When I first got out of school, I started volunteering at an animal shelter, working in the cat room, just helping out and getting those kitties adopted. And I always put my keys in my pocket. And this one particular day, I didn't have any pockets in my scrubs, so I just tucked my keys in the office behind some files. And little did I know how that one tiny act would change the trajectory of my life. I went about my business and took care of the kitties, and when my shift was over, I went back to gather my keys. And I saw this little thing in a crate. I didn't even know what it was. It just caught my eye, and it was kind of thrashing around, and I realized it wasn't really jumping. It looked like it was having a seizure. So I ran and I got some staff member, and I said, "Look, something's wrong with this little puppy." And they looked at me and they said, "Oh, he does that all the time. He's getting put down tomorrow." And something inside of me happened, and I just couldn't leave him there. Couldn't stand, he couldn't walk, he was just kind of thrashing around. He had knocked over his food and water, and I just couldn't leave knowing that his last 24 hours on earth were going to be like that. So I scooped him up and I said, "When's his euthanasia appointment?" and took him home. Had no idea what I was doing, nor did I have any idea what my life would be like because of that decision. So I got him home, and something happened. He tried to play with my cat, Cletus Boone, who was very unimpressed with the whole situation. And he barked, and he chewed on a toy, and I thought, there's something in there. He couldn't walk. He just writhed around all the time. If you held his body, his head would bob. If you didn't hold his body, he just kind of did this constantly. So I took him to his appointment the next day, and I asked the veterinarian what was wrong with him. And he said, "I don't know." This was back in 1998, long before the internet was a really big thing. And he said, I said, "Is he going to get better?" And he said, "I don't know. Take him home. Try if you want." He said, "Put him in the bathtub. Sometimes water will help him stand up." So, okay, put him back in my car and took him home. I named him Smuckers because he jiggled like jelly. And I got him home and I put him in the tub. And I tried working with him, and I made him a promise. And I said, "Okay, we're going to give it a week. And in a week, if things aren't any better, I promise you I'll let you go." And a week went by, and he wasn't any worse. And so we had another week and another week. And as a physical therapist, I found myself doing things with him that I did with my human patients. I was doing physical therapy on this dog. And over time, he learned to walk, he learned to run, he learned to jump on the couch. It wasn't pretty. He jerked all over the place. People thought I was crazy. They shamed me and thought that I was being selfish and I just wanted attention. But golly, he just never knew anything was wrong with him. He was just happy. He just did his thing. And the longer I worked with him, the more I started thinking, can I do this for a living? Do people do this? Do people do therapy on dogs? So I started Googling, and back then there were only 2 animal rehab clinics in the entire country. They're all over the place now. You can find them everywhere now. But back then, there was only 2. And one of them was an hour from my house. And so I picked up the phone and I called the vet. And we talked, and I found out that there was some coursework I could take on animal rehabilitation. And before you knew it, I quit my job and I went to work for a veterinarian. Again, people thought I was crazy. But it just was natural, and it was just what I was so passionate about doing. Smuckers was really special for me. I started rescuing and helping other special needs dogs because it just occurred to me, like, he's just one dog, but look at this impact he's had on my life. And so over the years, I rehabbed, I volunteered, I donated, I transported, I fostered, I've rescued other special needs dogs, and it's just turned into my passion. Now I create art, and I actually donate a portion of my proceeds to special needs rescue dogs, sometimes horses or owls or even children, but I donate. And if you're interested and you want to see a little bit more of my art, you can check out my Facebook page, Quilling with a Purpose. He was with me for 17 years. He was my loyal companion, always by my side. He was the greatest joy in my life. And I often think back to that day at the shelter and how random it was that I happened to put my keys in that one place that day. I'd never done it before. And what karma or what, whatever you believe in that placed me in that spot that day, it changed the trajectory of my life. That one small act. So, I learned a lot from Smuckers over the years. Many, many lessons. Probably the most important of which is to trust my gut and to be brave, and that I was brave enough to take him home when I didn't know what I was doing. That I was brave enough to leave my career and start a career in canine rehab. And all the while, people thinking I was just, this is really strange stuff. But it was my path. And I look back now and I'm so grateful about where my path has gone and what I've done, all because of what stemmed from that simple act of putting my keys in a different place that day. We get this one life and we write our own stories, and I guess what I really want you to glean from all this is, are you following the path you're supposed to? Are you listening to what's inside of you and pursuing what you'd like? I mean, those were leaps of faith for me, from rescuing Smuckers to changing my career to even creating art. These were just things I never saw for myself. They just happened. So in closing, I'm going to leave you with a quote because I love quotes. And your quote for today, the quote I want you to think about is, "Do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." Here he is. This is our last picture together, 1 week before he had to cross the bridge. He was a special boy. So I want you to think about that. And if you like this story and you'd like to see more stories like this, please like my channel. I think you like it, or you subscribe to it. I'm kind of new at this. Check out my webpage, www.lifelessonsandconnections.com. Check out my Facebook page, Quilling with a Purpose, and leave me a comment. Let me know if you'd like to hear more.